Going on, Jeromes? Beautiful Friday, a little Q&A action. Let's get fired up. First up is from Chris Phillipson. What on earth do the coaches see in Ed Ingram, starting a right guard, that we don't see on Sundays? Grades, stats, eye test all tell us he's below replacement level. Do we honestly not have any better options? So with Ed, obviously being an in-house guy, being a second-round pick from 2022, and the coaches have gone to bat for him. Chris Cooper, offensive line coach, Kwesi Kevin McConnell talked him up, and he's not unproductive in the run game. Right, so he's got power, he's got anchor, has grit, has toughness, has everything that you want in a run blocking right guard. The problem has been pass protection, and there has been breakdowns in communication, breakdowns in protection, and also you do see that defensive coordinators are targeting him. So they'll throw games at that side, they'll get him singled up and ISO'd against their best interior pass rusher, and it's basically what defense coordinators have done with Bradbury over the last couple of years as well. But ideally, they're hoping that he can pan out because he is younger, and also, like we said, being an in-house guy, there's a degree of sunk cost fallacy, as well as a little bit of ego, where it's just like, oh, we spent this high draft pick and we need it to work out, right? It's sort of like the Daniel Jones situation. But like I said, he does have the framework of being a solid guard, and also harkening back to LSU, like his pass protection was pretty good. All right, so that's what they're holding out for right now. They do have Dalton Risner waiting in the wings as a veteran, competent replacement, but we'll see what happens. Next, Shane Nelson. What adjustments need to be made to get back to the team that was snatching souls and we were 5-0? Is it that other teams are figuring this out, or we just weren't executing at a high level? So a couple things go into this, and the Vikings stunning out of the gate, and a lot of the haters and the losers, and even some Vikings fans were like, 1-4 if things go good. But the Vikings starched a couple of opponents, and I think a lot of it goes back to confidence, right, and execution. And I do not believe that the league has figured out Brian Flores' defense or Kevin O'Connell's offense, especially when you have Justin friggin' Jefferson. And Darnold was playing at a high level the first month of the year, September, NFC Offensive Player of the Month, obviously. But, the two losses against the Lions, you had a near-run thing, right? And you made mistakes in that second quarter, and it did come down to a last-second field goal. So it is what it is, right? We'll see them again. And the Rams game, I don't so much blame the refs at the end of the Rams game as, the Vikings just squandered opportunities all over the place, couldn't get a consistent pass rush and all that stuff. And you could say, well, it's just the Colts week 9, but the Vikings could have played bad. The Vikings could have lost. Actually, the Vikings did play bad in the first half, didn't they? But that's such a weird game. Yeah, but now they have the stretch of the next 4 games, 3 on the road, and then you got the Cardinals at home. They have to go 4-0, right? And you can't. I know that people are going to say that this is a soft part of the schedule, but you can't play down your competition and just look good, execute well, and get that confidence and mojo back, and the offense being at or near full strength. Same thing with the defense, getting Cashman back potentially after the last 3 weeks is going to be huge, and you just go from there. Just one game at a time. Next. Expired mana. A huge positive to the Vikings not making any moves at the trade deadline is that we kept the first-round pick. Who would be your favorite choice so far for the Vikings in the draft? So this is going to be a good corner and defensive line draft. Obviously, Mason Graham would be a guy that we would have our eye on, but I feel like the Vikings, obviously, first-round pick is going to be late. But you look at Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan, who got injured, but, he was such a stud last year. He was really good. Also, Ashton Jeter, he should win the Heisman. I don't know if he will, but it's really fun. And it's not just level of competition. His balance is so unique. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got vision. He really has everything. And maybe we are getting back to running backs are great again. I don't know, but I just feel like with Aaron Jones, he's not a long-term solution. But Genty with Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson and J.J. McCarthy, let's go, man. But of course, it's really early in the draft process. Going to have a lot of crushes, and I'm sure we'll make 75,000 videos. Vikings need to draft blah blah blah, or the universe ends. Something like that. Next, Brandon Hill. What do you make of the team's current position? Reverse calc. Oh no. Are we win now since we have a strong but aging defense and capable offense? Are we rebuilding? Do we do nothing at the trade deadline because we don't know where we stand? You the man, Eddie. Hey, thank you. I would say that this season specifically, they're ahead of schedule in terms of the competitive rebuild. I think that the framework was, after parting ways with Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter and riding it out with all those dead cap, it's that this was a step back season. Whatever happens, happens. But what has happened is really good. And offensively, I know by average this team is older because of some of the outliers of veteran contributors, but the framework of this team, the pillars of this team are exceedingly young. You look at J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. You look at Jefferson. You look at Darisaw. You look at Hawkinson. You look at Addison. You look at Pace Jr. on defense. You look at Diamond Dallas Turner. So, I mean, the structure of this defense is exceedingly young. And, yeah, there will be some veteran turnover, notably on defense, but also beyond guys like Gilly and Harrison Smith, there's a lot of veterans who still have a lot of good football in them, whether Andrew Van Ginkel or Jonathan Grenard, Harrison Phillips, etc. So this is not a all-in proposition, even though some of the notable outliers for the Vikings are older and will have to be replaced. But the core of this team is exceedingly young and something you can build around. And I think it's going to be really, really good for the future. And, of course, just enjoying the season for what this season is going to be. Lastly, Cody Pierce. What football family traditions do you want to strengthen now that your kids are getting older, like making certain foods or pregame rituals? So our rituals are odd because we're not normal Vikings fans since I'm my ass is stuck in this chair down in the basement studio. But overall, like they're not like overly into football. Like we'll watch the Super Bowl if we have something at home and we're not going out and about, and we'll make the kids' favorite snacks. And I really like that my boys are getting into chicken wings. Like they're just savages. Like if you give a kid a bone-in wing, like they'll just have a couple of nibbles and blah, blah, blah. But no, my middle kid Rocco's like going after things, eating the tendons, eating the cartilage and all that stuff, and just really, I'm proud, man. And that's something that's like such a small thing in life, but something that's so huge is that just literally like college football Saturday, taking your kids out and going getting wings and just like chowing down. I feel like small moments together like that are huge. Absolutely. But other than that, like for our game day, so say Vikings play a noon game, we'll get up. Sometimes we'll go to church, sometimes not, depending on how the little one slept. And he's still. Church is really hard with small kids. I know that there's like cry rooms and stuff. Sometimes I just want to go in there if the Vikings are playing the Lions. I don't know, but that I'll usually fashion some sort of soup or chili. So it's something that you can prep and have in the crock pot, and you guys can feed on throughout the day. And I'm really digging soup season. Like honestly, if I ever opened a restaurant, I think it would be like soup and sandwich forward, because there's so many. There's such a hole in terms of nutrition, right? But soup is such a great vessel for that. But yeah, it's a great way to trick yourself into eating fruits and lean proteins. But and that's what we'll do. And during the game, sometimes the wife will watch the show like passively upstairs, like working on a puzzle or crossword. The kids really don't care at this moment in time. But I don't know, like some of my favorite moments were hanging out with my dad and grandpa and, making some food, watching the Vikings game. And I know that our situation is warped, but who knows? Maybe I'm not doing the channel in a couple of years, and maybe we're just a normal Vikings family or something like that. But we do have that to a degree with Liverpool, and it's really great too because Premier League games are generally being played on Sunday or Saturday morning. So if they, like college football Saturday, Liverpool plays at like 9 or 10. We'll watch the game. We'll have some breakfast, and that's sort of our gathering tradition for this point in time. Anyways, that is it. Vikings news dump on this beautiful Friday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. No, it's not a news dump. It's Q&A. I had the wrong placard up. Nailed it. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.